When you think of art, what comes to mind? Is it the Mona Lisa, the Sistine Chapel, or maybe anime or cartoons? Perhaps something more obscure like furry art? Hi, I'm Samuel, and I'm here to discuss if the Renaissance was the quote-unquote best period of art. So before we even start on this topic, what is the definition of art? Oxford Languages defines it as the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as a painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. By that definition, we can tell that because art is supposed to trigger emotion, it is completely subjective. Now, I do hear a lot of people saying that the Renaissance period of art was the best form of art. Cough, cough. Mostly old art critics. Now, I've got nothing against older folks. They just tend to see things more in black and white. And when it comes to art, things are so wide in variety that there's you can't be in black and white. Yes, the Renaissance was chock full of new styles and techniques, but honestly, I think the modern age of art is just as good. While yes, the Renaissance did give us many, many techniques and different new supplies, the modern age has given us just as big of an impact with things like digital painting and especially the entirety of the industry of animation. The Renaissance has given us many, many stupidly famous artists. Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, just to name a couple. Now, I've chosen two artists to compare, just very briefly. First, we'll start with Leonardo da Vinci. Da Vinci was a Renaissance artist. He has some very, very well-known paintings such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. The second artist we have is Vanessa Stockard. Vanessa is a present-day artist. She's well known for painting pictures of her cat, Kevin. So I do believe that talent does not matter whether you're from the Renaissance or present day. The quality of an art piece is not determined by how old it is, but it's determined by who's looking at the piece itself. My aunt, who has happened to gone to art school for this kind of thing, says, I suggest challenging the framing of the question itself. How can anyone say which art is the quote-unquote best art when all art is subjective? What one person says could be bad art could be another person's favorite art. And I completely agree with that. Like, for example, I really enjoy a lot of pop culture artwork. But someone like my grandma might prefer Renaissance artists like Leonardo da Vinci. Art is probably the most subjective thing that I've ever seen, and it really just depends on who enjoys what. In my personal opinion, I don't think there's anything that should be deemed as bad art, but I will say yes, there are inexperienced artists, but there's no such thing as actually bad art. I think another wonderful thing we've done with modern art is how we've developed the animation industry. The amount of cartoons, anime, everything, all of it, it's just, there's so much work and effort into it, and I think it is one of the most impressive art forms. But some other people might not appreciate it as much because they either aren't an artist or they simply just don't care for the medium. Which I do think is a bit sad because so much blood, sweat, and tears goes into the cartoons and the animes that we watch. And so I think that's where we'll stop. So the conclusion of this video is that 1. Before you look at an art piece, think of how much effort and time was put into it before you judge it. And 2. The age of an art piece does not matter. What matters is the skill of the artist. The skill of the artist doesn't depend on how old the piece is. But yeah, so with that, I will say goodbye to you. Toodles!